Welcome back to the back nine of the final round of the Hall of Fame Classic FPO lead card on W.R. Jackson. This is going to round out the national tour and sponsored by Rec Tech Grills. Paige and I are one stroke apart going into this back nine.
Hole 10, most players just try to make it to the group of trees that you just saw on the left. Your second shot can get all the way to the basket. There are a number of us that can get a 3 here, but we all love a par 4. You can take the left gap or the right gap off the tee. Important, just don't go in the woods left or right. This hole, I believe, is very difficult, but it feels so rewarding just to get a good tee shot. I know that disc Paige has in her hand, and she's going for a full send, trying to bite off as much distance as she can right off the tee. And she does it.
Jess with that patented flip up. Doesn't get it flipped up quite enough and leaves her at the edge of the rough. She'll have to work to get out of there, but there's still a birdie opportunity there.
Trying a road runner down the gap, but I started out a little too flat, and unfortunately it gets over on the Annie angle. I can't even see the basket at this point. I just pick a tree, give my Starlight Boss an Annie angle, and I'm just hoping for the best.
Jessica is helping your disc along there.
I appreciate the encouragement.
There was a lot of good vibes on our card. I'm throwing a relay on a hyzer here, trying to get up as close as I can to the basket and miss all those trees in the fairway. And I'm just outside the circle. Jess in scramble mode here.
With that much power on her sidearm, she still gets so much forward momentum, even though she does hit a tree. And once again, we see another sidearm upshot from Paige. It just goes to prove my point before, like, we know that's not her strong suit, but again and again she is choosing that. I'm just trying to loft it up there, play this hole for a par. Jess didn't quite put enough on it.
A couple times today.
Left herself with a bit of a tester.
Paige, you can't even see the basket here. Trying to let it hyzer in. Really good run, but really tough
I admire
position.
her full commitment to it, you know. She
I'm
really
throwing
goes.
an Annie here.
Oh,
and
Sarah!
Those don't usually work, and I'm super stoked that that went in. Giving me a 2-stroke lead.
Did you know it at that point?
Nope, definitely not.
Jess has had a lot of success today with her putt, so, you know, I was sad to see that one not go in.
That's I think that's 3 in a row that she's not connected on.
Feeling really good about that par save, seeing as how my drive was a bit bunk.
And Paige also with the par. The margin is now
What'd you take? Oh wait,
2.
I passed the scorecard.
I think it's 2.
Thanks, MVP.
On to hole 11. 420 feet, slightly uphill from left to right. This is a boomer. Not too many people have access to it, but we do have a few people who can get there on this card. I'm going to play for par, as most of us are, but we might see a birdie look here.
This tee shot is really hard. It looks open. You take a glance at it, you're like, this is no big deal. But when you throw it, It is very difficult. You know, as a right-hand backhand thrower, I'm aiming left way over into the forest, hoping my disc floats back right. Look at Paige with the full send.
Whew!
Oh my gosh.
She threw that shot every round really, really well, and even got the birdie the second day. So we'll see if she can make that putt today.
Just put the Starlight Boss on an angle, hoping to get as much distance as I can. I'm playing this hole for a 3.
Jess leaving it a little far right, and those trees are tall in front of her, between her and the basket.
It is really thick over there on the right side. Not a place you want to be. Lofting a stud up there, hoping for a no stress putt.
This one is extremely difficult to get for birdie, but it's a pretty straightforward par. And if you get a bogey on this one, you are losing strokes to the field.
Creative out from Jess. As you can see, it was so thick she had to do a very unique shot. Unfortunately, she does not get the par save putt.
She has missed 2 in a row low, and now she misses high. So that's 4 misses in a row. She is really trying to dial it in now. It's like if you miss low, then you miss high, and then you miss low. Those are frustrating days of putting.
We've all been there.
So no birdie from Paige today, but her and Kat both got this hole yesterday. So I was thinking that this would be a good one for us to have, the ladies to have maybe a different tee or a slightly shorter basket. But Paige and Kat are showing that there is some separation.
Yes, there is.
And, you know, Jess, even though, you know, we consider it a straightforward par, you know, you can get into trouble and it's difficult to save.
Hole 12. I love this hole. It is very difficult. It's a par 5 for us. We call this left root the sucker gap. It is narrow, but it is a shorter distance. However, if you want a more risk-free design, I suggest taking the right gap. I'm sure you'll see some of the players take the right gap. And it depends on the position of your tee shot. You know, where you land is really going to determine what you're going to do next.
That was a little higher than I wanted, throwing the crave there, but I'm in the short grass and I've been in the woods all week, so I feel good about that.
What gap are you playing for?
I'm playing the low left gap.
Okay.
And I'm playing the right side on the second choice there.
Got a road runner.
With the slight elevation change and the really fast fairway, they can easily skip left or right. This shot is more technical than it looks, even in person. Really easy to end up in the rough as we see Jess's Valkyrie float right.
I feel like that right section over there is sometimes just a magnet too.
Yeah, well, I feel that way about the left side. So
Fair enough.
Both times, first 2 rounds, I thought I hit my line and I drifted left into that rough.
Paige did a placement shot with her putter. She's going to just try to get a nice open shot for the next one.
I'm throwing a crave on a hyzer, also for position, and it works out.
This hole is so critical about placement.
Jess also trying to get to that right side fairway. Needed a little more turn. She'll have some trouble there.
I'm really excited because I've always taken the left route. I decided this year I'm taking the right route, and then I didn't quite execute the upshot. Perfect position drive and poor execution on the up. Paige is going for the birdie here. She ended up in the middle, laid it up with a putter, and now she's powered all the way down to the green. This is a par 5, and now she'll be putting for 4.
Throwing a relay here, attempting a full turn slow Anheuser. And it works.
That was so pretty.
Thanks. Jess is in the rough, trying to get some forward progression, and she ends up back in the rough.
It really helps if you just stay on the right side of the fairway. If you're taking the right side gap, just stay on the right, stay on the right. Anytime you get near that center section, it makes it so difficult.
Just throwing almost a tomahawk.
And as you can see, Jess has been off the fairway the entire time and is basically just chopping her way down there, which just goes to show, as I mentioned before, this hole is so critical about placement.
And the fact that you have to string together so many placement shots in a row.
Yes.
Just trying to get some putt going.
Just trying to save that. We all know that feeling. You want it so bad. That is such a great birdie, Sarah.
I was so happy to get that one. Just connecting. All right, that's going to get things going for her.
Yep, pick up her confidence a bit. Another birdie on our card. And even though Paige landed in a bad position on her drive, she just did a placement shot, nothing fancy on the second one, and was still able to get a birdie. I'm happy with a par here, although of course I'd love a birdie. There's nothing wrong with the 5. As we've said before, par is a great score out here on WR Jackson.
On to hole 13. 399 feet, slightly downhill with a pretty narrow gap through most of the fairway, and then a severe right turn to an undulating green. This one is really tough to get to off the tee, and mostly we're trying to just get down the fairway and give ourselves an easy approach to par the hole. There's somebody hit a tree really hard right in my backswing, and somehow my focus turned away from my line, and I was lucky to get through that tree.
Immediately like,
Paige with a convict looking for a slow Annie turn, also throws it wide, and she'll have some work to do.
I've got my Holly Finley Tour Series Roadrunner here. Just floating it through the middle gap, hoping to land anywhere in the fairway. I'm playing this hole for a 3. If you want a Tour Series Roadrunner, you can visit the Innova Factory store and get yours today. Just hoping for that flip up with her Star Vulcan. What a fortunate tree kick.
You know, she
Rolling back
needed that
in the
right
middle.
then.
She did, she did.
Paige with a forehand approach. She's got it dialed.
How many times have I said that? You know,
Yeah,
Paige with
she's-
another forehand approach. So she's really strengthening that aspect of her game.
Jess also with the forehand.
I think that helped. You know, it's likely she could have been over there in the sunshine past the green if she wouldn't have hit that tree.
I have the forehand option here, but I kind of like the backhand shot here. So we're
I
all
was
just
actually
doing weird stuff.
Behind you looking at that when you did it, and I decided you took the path of least resistance, and that was the smarter choice.
I felt like that tree early left might have kicked me backwards and left me a longer putt. So
My upshot hit Sarah's disc and actually moved it out of position, and she was questioning when that happens, or you know, should you move the disc back to its original position? And yes, you should. That is actually a PDGA rule. You move the disc back to its original position based on the group decision. So because we weren't 100% and we don't want to delay, we did a provisional. which is recommended when you can't come to an immediate decision or you don't know all the specifics. So Sarah played a provisional from both putt positions, even though they were just a few inches apart. It's important, you know, she's in a really critical position in the tournament, so that was a really
technically, had I only putted from where my disc ended up, it could have technically been playing from the wrong lie, and I could have been stroked later for that.
Yes. Hole 14, a full power send off the tee pad. The second shot needs to land at this corner where the dirt path is. You might get a 3 if you're lucky. Most of us are happy to get a 4 here. So hopefully you want to make it up and over the crest of the hill on the drive.
Quite a challenge here for a lefty or a sidearm. I'm throwing a slight turn that is going to hyzer out. It's a relay. Paige making that second shot quite a bit easier with that massive distance she's getting. Sets up really well for a righty backhand.
I pull it a little too far right. I got lucky that I clipped through the corner.
It's easy to do that on those uphill tee shots.
It is, especially after I follow up Paige Pierce and she smashes a drive like that. It, you know, makes you want to throw harder than you normally would. You try not to change your game plan, but, you know, it's tough.
Yeah, Jess also pulling it right, but getting a favorable kick.
The shot shaping on this is so impressive.
Gorgeous shot.
And as I mentioned earlier, just landing at that corner is exactly where you want to be. And if you make it to the green, that's more of a bonus than a requirement. I'm trying to do a placement shot. It's a little shorter than I wanted. From Sarah's position and her abilities, she can make it all the way to the green. So I
slipped a little on that.
Yeah, but
unfortunately.
I'm thinking that you were probably trying to play it to get there.
I was, yeah. Paige, utilizing her hyzer line with a sidearm, gives herself a look for birdie.
And if anybody knows Paige, she has the full skill and ability to throw a beautiful and hyzer shot, but once again, she chooses a sidearm up. And I know I keep repeating myself, but I just think it's really impressive. She's working on a skill that isn't her strong suit and making it one of her strong suits. And I love to watch these shots from you, Sarah. The Annies are my favorite shot shape, and you've got a nice floaty one. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
So Jess, that clipped the corner, as I mentioned, being in the corner is fine. It's actually where you want to land. So now she's just doing a nice, easy up. Sarah said she was hot earlier. We had no wind flow that day, so I've let her borrow my Happy Fan.
Is there more of them, or are they about to?
So we had some runners coming through this pathway on the right who were kind of oblivious to what was going on. Paige for birdie. And she gets it. She got that birdie all 3 days.
Wow.
The only one to do that. We both got it the first day, and Kat also got it today in the third round.
Pleased with the par.
After Paige cashes in that birdie, I am feeling the pressure on this short putt. And it doesn't look very far, but it felt a lot further than that.
As some people say, no pictures on the scorecard.
And we're getting down to the wire here. We literally only have 4 holes left, and Paige is within 1.
Thanks, Disc Baron.
Hole 15, a par 4, 543 feet. The initial shot is almost a placement shot. Up to the right side is the preferred area, and then you have a fair amount of different gaps to navigate to get down into this sloped green with a few things to work around if you end up deep. This is ideal for a backhand line. a slight turn that may hyzer out, may stay in it. Either way, you're in good shape. For a lefty or a sidearm, this is a very difficult tee shot. So I'm throwing an extremely flippy disc on a hyzer, trying to get it to carry and not go too far right. It ends up in a good position for me.
I'm putting a bit of an Annie angle on my boss, hoping for an S shape. Landing at the peak of the hill is fine. I was really hoping just to skittle a bit further, though, to get a look at that 3.
Jess has been peering this shot all week, and she shows us how to do it one more time.
Just like that.
She really throws that Valkyrie so well.
What's that belt?
That's that Valk.
And I'm throwing another relay here on another hyzer and get this kind of little kick, but a little forward carry. So I have a decent look to get up and down to save my par.
W.R. Jackson has been so friendly to us this round. We've all gotten some really favorable tree kicks.
I think that's the good vibes on the card.
It is. Smiles all around. We're happy for each other's good shots. It just feels so great. Look at this, just trimming the tips of the grass.
Paige working a hyzer flip there. It's another angle.
I did not quite line that up correctly. It's really disappointing. I had a look to get to 3. I had the birdie the other day, so of course I had expectations to get it again. So at this point, I've told myself, let's just play it for a 4. Par is perfectly fine. I just loft my stud up there. Jess going with her floaty sonic up and is a little off on the angle, and with the downhill that makes it difficult as well. Now she'll have quite a challenging putt with a lot of brush and debris in her way.
Paige also with this downhill shot. Looks like she's laying this up, which is probably the best she can hope for here. I'm actually running this because honestly, my long putt feels good, and I know Paige is right behind me. I'm trying to get myself a margin going into these last few holes.
I like how your competitor for the tournament is giving you a low 5 on going for that. You know, she's admiring your courage to go for a downhill death putt full speed. It's
And
just
the feeling's mutual.
It's just such a great vibe on the card. We're all performing well. We're happy for each other, but we're still very competitive at this point. It's really easy to perform at your best under such great conditions.
We'll all walk away with pars, although this is a very birdieable hole. Actually, one of the easier holes on the course.
Hole 16. I like to play this hole for a birdie, and as I've mentioned before, I'll just accept nothing less. It's only 297 feet. I love the shot shape for a right-hand backhand thrower. Is that beautiful floating anhyzer, hopefully landing right by the pole. There is a bit of treachery on this hole, though. You can go OB. There's a little creek that can be dangerous if you overturn it.
Any early hits, the creek could come into play. And there's also OB behind the basket on the kind of the right side of what we're looking at in the fairway.
Sometimes if you make it up there to the green, you then have to decide, am I really going to go for this putt or not? Because behind it is not a pretty picture.
Paige with that backhand spin hits the tree and gets a bad kick left. Sidearm spin is going to kick you right, which I ended up hitting a tree and kicked right kind of down the hill. We're both really outside of a birdie look, so it's time to save a par. Beautiful shot. Jess with a look for birdie. Paige Paige with a very difficult approach.
Wow, sit down. That's gonna be like a mofo.
I'm trying to work on that uphill ante again. It's, again, not moving right. I'll figure that out someday.
I do have a putt. I'm feeling comfortable going for it. There's no OB. It is uphill. I really, really want this. And unfortunately, I just didn't execute it.
So Paige's approach ends up being out of bounds by such a tiny little margin. And that is really unfortunate. That is not a good time for something like that to happen.
No.
And the line itself is out of bounds, so there wasn't actually, she didn't even ask for a group call. She went up, saw that it was out of bounds, and accepted the out of bounds stroke. And now she is here trying to save a bogey with a little tester.
A little bit of frustration from Paige there, knowing it's critical. We're down to hole 16. Paige probably knows the scores. She's a person that keeps up with that stuff. You know, it's just getting really tough here coming down to the wire. It's getting more and more of a mental game at this point than skill.
Paige tapping at a double bogey, making the margin between us at 3 strokes. And as you know, as one might be less worried now that you only have 2 holes left and there's a 3-stroke margin, Paige got 3 strokes on 2 holes the first round on 17 and 18 that traditionally play very difficult, where you can see 3 and 4 stroke swings. So as much as you might think I could be more comfortable at this point with a 3-stroke lead, I am not comfortable.
Thanks, MVP.
Going into hole 17, it's a very, very tight tee shot. You're trying to place it in the middle however you can. Then you have this Anheuser flex through these gaps to try to give yourself a look at birdie. I personally am playing this for par because, frankly, I don't have a backhand Annie flex.
This tee shot is so critical. The majority of our field does take the left main gap. However, that right gap you saw over there is available if you want to get risky.
A little more skipped right than I want, but I'm glad it's in the short air. It's in the main part of the fairway and not off into the woods.
I did not get that flat enough, and unfortunately I kicked over there towards another fairway. It's going to be scramble mode.
Just following
Jess
suit.
Joining the scramble party.
Paige with a critical drive. She needs this birdie.
She's going full send.
And it looked so good out of her hand.
At this point, I'm just going for a placement shot. I want to get in the middle. I don't care much about distance. I just want to get in the middle and not make this hole any worse than it has already started out to be. I've already mentally decided I might get a 5.
Paige letting the camera guy know to watch out. She's coming in hot. She's trying to get this all the way down to give herself a look at birdie. But when we take big risks, sometimes you don't get that reward. Had she played that for par, I wonder if that would have changed the outcome on 18.
Her game plan is certainly more aggressive than most, so you see the results of being aggressive. You know, she could have easily just did a putter, but she chose to be highly aggressive, full speed, as hard as you can right off the tee.
I don't have much from this position. I could throw a hyzer sidearm, but I'm not going to get a ton of distance, so I just pitch up with a putter.
Much more important just to have a nice placement. I'm doing the exact same thing. I could, of course, do a run-up with a driver and try to get as far as I can, but that's not sensible. I'm just doing a nice, simple placement. It's all about the positioning, playing it for a 4. We're going to be smart here, closing out the round.
Touch shot with an NV. And a little skittle to get me close.
Thanks. And here we go again. It's just the same old story from Holly. We've got Paige Pierce doing another sidearm upshot.
Wanted a little more turn on that, but she'll have a look to save her bogey.
This is a very fast green. You know, when I'm doing this upshot, I'm actually aiming at the pole below the basket. So I'm hoping to land a little short, knowing it's dry. I'm going to skittle a bit downhill.
Skittles, that's a pretty good course snack. Again, remember to put your favorite course snack in the comments so we can give a disc away, an MVP disc away for each round. Paige saving the bogey, keeping hope alive.
And that looked like it was going in. Unfortunately, it just caught that nub right on the cage.
And that is 2 in a row again for her after she found her putt again, and then it seems to have she's a little tentative here.
Because I did fly off the fairway, I'm happy with a 5. You know, this hole can turn into large numbers really quickly. So, you know, just take what I got and skate away. Just feeling a little comfortable with the bag putt. I personally would never do that, but, you know, there's nothing wrong with it if you know it's going to go in. Hole 18, here we are. The party's almost over, folks. You can take the left gap off the tee. You can take the right gap off the tee. The second shot is really important. You just want to place it right here at the corner, which does give you a chance at a birdie 4, and we all can get there. However, we're really happy with a 5. Sarah leading us off.
And it is my tournament to lose here. You can lose 4 strokes on this hole with a birdie and a multi-bogey, and I'm off the fairway.
Could be worse.
It could be, like in the creek below.
Most definitely. Or hitting the first tree, which I did first round. Paige trying to get a full flex, because she's actually going to try to eagle this hole. We talked about the day before how, you know, if anybody could eagle it, she could. And we discussed that play, in fact.
I'm playing this hole for a 5. If I get a 4, lucky me. I like to take the right hyzer gap. I sawed it off a bit early, but as you've seen previously, the course is treating us really well, and I just floated through all those trees. I'm feeling really happy about it.
Jess, again, with that Valkyrie, it gets a little too much turn. Challenges of central trees, but she does still have a nice fairway look.
Another lucky kick right to the middle skis.
Up the fairway, in line to still possibly get a birdie on this. I had a few gaps I could have gone for, but I decided that it's better to just play this even for par or even bogey at this point and not try to do anything crazy.
Just a placement with my champion eagle.
Trying to get up and around the corner in good position for an easy approach to the pin.
If you've ever played this hole, you just know how incredible it is for Paige to be in the position she's in. It's such a massive crush to be all the way up there. But because she was a bit off the fairway, the best she could do is just a small, short pitch out placement shot. I'm trying to send my Roadrunner right down the gap, hoping to get down there for a birdie putt, but, you know, we'll see.
It's there. It's just kind of long.
Yeah.
Jess, with the Vulcan in her hand, she's going for the pin. She throws this so high and nails the fairway.
Do it.
Actually, to the point where she goes past the basket. Here I'm throwing the new Electron Matrix so straight. I love this disc, and I love that it's a really short putt to finish out.
That was such a good upshot.
Paige making jokes. She's in good spirits despite the score is not in her favor at this point. And she's trying to throw it in.
She is.
And she is right in line with the
She
basket.
was. It floated right over the basket. I was standing right behind her. You know, when I get there, Sarah, I decided, you know, tree on the left, tree on the right. There's nothing wrong with par. I just threw it at the dirt, and I knew I had a decent round going. And there's no shame in that.
And you've locked up that space with Jess as well. Even though you don't know the score, do you know that
No.
you're ahead of Jess right now?
I had no idea.
Would you have been upset had that putt been something that mattered?
It's likely, yes.
Jess finishing out with a par with that amazing third shot.
Little tap out. Amazing performance by Sarah. We're just all so proud of you. Winning this, you impressed us all, Sarah. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a wonderful weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for your 2019 Ed Hedrick Disc Golf Hall of Fame champion, Sarah Hokom.
Thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment to win an MVP disc. Oh, those girls were at all of our rounds. They were so adorable. The future of disc golf right there.
I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and that was my video blog. I'm joined by our champion and Sarah Hokom. And Sarah, great battle. Congratulations. How does it feel?
Great. I'm just very relieved that, you know, and just honestly kind of surprised myself out there. You know, I've never shot under par on this layout, and then I ended up shooting 3 rounds under par. So it feels really good.
Well, last year I believe the winner was maybe only 1 under par for the whole tournament.
I think she was 1 over.
Or one over.
I think
So
she was
that
1
is
over.
definitely a testament. Really solid scoring out here. Seemed like you had a really good card. I mean, I saw bacon, I saw starburst, I saw sausages. Seemed like eggs. Seemed like a pretty good card these last few days.
Bean salad. I didn't bust out the pasta salad, but I have it with me.
You're holding out. Yeah, great. Come on.
Several
I'm a pasta guy
kombuchas,
myself.
Some little Runna energy drinks.
Really good card, great camaraderie out there.
No, for real. We all are just supportive of each other, and it was just really fun to play every single round, of course, with Paige, and then we got to play with Jess and Holly and Elaine, like just solid players, so it was really fun.
Really special to be here at the Hall of Fame Classic. This is the last time the National Tour is concluding here, and then we're surrounded by so much greatness. What are some of the feelings you had throughout the week?
It was definitely great to see all the greats of the game, for sure. And then, you know, being able to play in the woods here as we end the season, you know, you never know how things are going to go. You know, people are dealing with injuries, being, you know, burnt out, tired. You know, and my game seems to be peaking right now. So, you know, I guess it's just a great time to be peaking.
You want the season to continue.
Yeah, right? Can we just keep going? Yeah, I might have to go to Florida or something. Keep this
Exactly.
rolling. But yeah, it's just been awesome to be surrounded by so many great people, and just it reminds you of how important the Frisbee family is to this sport that we love.
It is. Well, and I've got to send a huge shout out. I know we've mentioned it throughout the entire week, of course, that Disc Baron and MVP were big sponsors of the coverage, supporting not just you and Elaine and all the golfers out there, but actually supporting coverage that was brought this week. Speak a little bit about your year with MVP and the Frisbee family you just spoke of.
Yeah, I mean, MVP has just been a wonderful transition for me. They are, you know, they're great. They're great people, and they care about their team, you know, more than just how we play. You know, you'll find that a lot of our team members at the moment are not necessarily always on the lead card, but they, you know, they're always out there giving it their all. And I just feel just so fortunate to be with a company that has that mentality. You know, and I mean the discs. I mean, they have a disc for everything. So 70+ molds. Like if you can't find one that works for you, you might want to check your form.
Well, I even heard Paige Pierce say, "I really want to try one of those."
I know,
at one point this week. So, all right. Well, we're gonna
do that for sure.
We're gonna send things off again. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to the PDGA. Also, thank you to Matt, who was hustling around all week helping with the catch cam footage. Thanks for supporting FPO. This is your champion, Sarah Hokom, here at the 2019 Hall of Fame Classic.